In the Kundalini awakening process or spiritual awakening process, we experience a lot of symptoms. They could be in the form of mental symptoms, physical symptoms, kriyas, otherworldly experiences, synchronicities, increased dream time. Our connection with the universe around us, it starts changing. We start seeing that we are living life differently from others around us. And this is where we try to share our experiences with those who are unawakened. But we have to understand here that those who do not have a spiritual base or a foundation, they cannot understand your experiences. Hence, they might say that something is wrong with you and you need to chill, or you need to sort of be more focused and practical. This is where you have to understand that not everybody in the world can understand you, and those who are still sleeping, those who are not awakened, they can never understand you. And they will not awaken also before their due time. So there is no point in trying to awaken everybody around us. It is only those few who understand what you're going through, they alone can empathize with your situation. As part of our spiritual growth, we join many spiritual groups where people start sharing their personal experiences. And here also, there is an ego trap that there is a competition between me and the other person as to who has had the highest number of experiences or the more advanced experiences. So the ego here, it starts catching hold of the person as the spiritual ego. We have to be very careful here. So here at a point too, we have to understand that we have to let go of the experiences, because the experiences are part of the process. For eons of times, the process has been happening in the same way. Even the people who awakened before us, they also went through the same situations. Maybe a little variations here and there, but then the spiritual awakening and the unfoldment of the process, it happens on similar lines. So when we understand that this is a process, and because we are very attached to the experiences that come from the process, because we identify with the body and mind, we will see ourselves as the experiencer of the process. But the shift has to be made from the experiencer to the witness state. If we do not make that shift by disidentifying from the physicality, disidentifying from our thoughts, from our emotions, from our stories, we will get caught up in the spiritual ego, which will not allow us to progress to the next level. At the higher level, you need to have the understanding of how the process has changed you. If you have to share your experiences with somebody else who's walking the path, it can be of guidance for others who are walking on the path. But at a point when we release the identity as being an experiencer, and this comes when we disidentify from our experiences. We don't see that we have experienced the process. We understand that the process is happening because it is our time to evolve, and the process is changing the body and mind. When you reach this realization and you don't see yourself as an experiencer, here you shift into the witness mode. When I say witness mode here, it is not about sitting and blankly staring at our thoughts or trying to understand the thoughts. It is not about it. It is all about disidentifying with everything. Once you disidentify everything, there's something within that wakes up, something that recognizes. It recognizes the instance you're about to slip into Maya. It is something that will allow you to see how your actions, your thoughts, your behaviors will again pull you back into Maya. That aspect within us which recognizes Maya and which allows us to live life above Maya, that is, without getting pulled into Maya, that aspect within us, it wakes up here. We become the recognizer. So, as long as we are rooted in the experiencer, we cannot become the recognizer here. The transition from the experiencer to the recognizer happens by disidentifying with everything, all your storylines, even the spiritual experience storylines. To start with the Kundalini or the spiritual awakening process, it happens to the limited being who's caught up in cycles of life and death. He is the experiencer or she is the experiencer. But as the ego dissolution happens, as we start disidentifying with various layers of ignorance within us, which are part of our body mind system, here you are moving away from the limited being aspect and you're coming and rooting yourself in the individual consciousness which is present here. At this point, all experiences are given away. What remains is the recognition that you are knowledge light and you're not these various layers of ignorance.